from another planet? Is Janet 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 from another planet?
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cosmic Chat. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Artemis, NASA's rocket they have right now, circling the moon or going around to see the moon. And I think they're landing tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 10th, isn't it? Yeah. So tomorrow they're supposed to land, come back to Earth. But I just think the whole thing is wonderful that Earth is finally getting back into the, the cosmic travels, because you can't go anywhere if you don't try, right? Well, the first thing I want to show is that I have a poll, if you'd like to answer yes or no. So far, it says right now yes, but I'm asking, do you believe that we've landed on the moon before? because there's so many people, the flat earthers mostly, that don't think that we've been to the moon yet, or earthlings have been to the moon. I've been past the moon many times. But I would love for you guys to fill that out if you can, if you get a chance to. I think it's fun, just to kind of get an idea of what my viewers think about whether or not we've gone to the moon, and whether it's everybody's full of shit that believes in it. But I definitely do. But do that, and we'll move on. But the first thing I wanted to show, I thought was so cute. I'm going to take this down real quick. Okay, I want to share this because I found this and I just think it's adorable, because we have to make sure that we keep this type of thing, out there for the kids to believe that in something, right? And this young kid wrote in and wrote a letter, and I'm going to click on it, to tell the astronauts to please make Pluto a planet again. I just thought it was so adorable. So I'm going to read his little letter. It says, "Dear NASA, please make Pluto a planet again. I really want it to be a planet again. Here are some reasons that Pluto should be a planet again." So cute. It says, it's part of our solar system and used to be a planet. 2, it's a dwarf planet and deserves to be an actual planet. 3, it might make a lot of people happy. It might not be your choice, but if it is, please, please, please make it a planet. It would make me very, very happy. And if you can't make it an actual planet, please consider it a planet. And I'm sorry if my handwriting or spelling is hard to read. Anyway, it will make me and my friends very happy. Here are some facts to prove I know about Pluto. So sweet. Pluto is a dwarf planet. Pluto is located in the Kuiper Belt. Oh. Pluto was discovered in 1930 by Clyde Tombaugh. And it says, Pluto is smaller than Earth's moon. Pluto has 5 known moons. Thank you, NASA. Bye. Oh, I just thought that was so cute. And this is a picture of Pluto that they put with the actual thing. But what's neat is the administrator, Jared Isaacman, he's one of the astronauts, wrote back to him and said, "We're looking into this." So I just think this is wonderful, and I hope this makes him very popular at school. And he dives right into more science and just keeps, going along, and maybe he will find other planets, to name, or stars, things like that, if he stays up on it. But I think that's wonderful, and I wish we'd encourage kids to get more active in, in what's out in our universe and in the cosmos. I just think it's wonderful. So I wanted to open up with that after I saw it, because I went to my DMs and found this in there. I had forgotten about it, but I definitely wanted to share it tonight on the Cosmic Chat. So thank you for letting me share that with you. So I'll turn that off. And the next thing I wanted to do was to show the actual liftoff. And it was really cool because Donald Trump posted this, and I want to share the actual takeoff of the rocket that's heading towards the moon to do a flyby, in preparation of soon, within a year, I think it's within a year of actually landing on the moon again. So here we go.
25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And lift off. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high.
On time, passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate MECO. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on board main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour. Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce on.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon.
Have you the same?
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis II mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour. One minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time, standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation expected at the 2-minute 9-second mark. We see throttle down. Confirmed separation. Main engines throttling up, guidance converged.
Awesome. I think that was so cool. And I'm going to share the link for that in the chat. And I'm going to share the whole thing about the letter first that Jared wrote to NASA about please making Pluto a planet. Oh, he's just so cool, sweetheart. And his mind is just wide open to learn new things. And I just hope that he gets what he wished for. I want to, hold on, I got to copy this other one so I can share it real quick in the chat. I just think it's exciting to finally be doing more, because a lot of people got to grow up seeing us send, satellites into outer space. I mean, that's how we communicate with other countries using computers. Now you have Netflix and HBO and Paramount and everybody all bouncing off all the satellites, to share stuff that you watch on TV every day. You're scrolling, like watching me right now. You might be using a satellite, cell service or whatever, and they're probably bouncing it off a satellite. So it's very interesting, all this information. And the reason I saw, in the chat, I saw Bone posted something. They didn't get to walk on the moon this time because they're trying to work out a bunch of kinks of different things that they want to be prepared for and what different things they want to do. As far as I know, they're going to be doing it next year because I have a bunch of different websites that I'm going to share from NASA about Artemis and what their plans are and why they're going there and what kind of samples they want to get and different things like that. So the whole thing is it has to work to where when the rocket does take off, that it doesn't hit satellites and other things that are flying around. I think I have it. I'm going to share it. It's a actual picture that kind of gives you an idea of how many satellites are in orbit around the Earth, and hopefully they have to get permission to do that. I mean, I know you have to have like a license or whatever to fly drones and things like that. So I think they also have the same thing when it is, definitely when you're putting something up in outer space permanently. Let me see. Let's see. Bone. This mission was to go past the moon. Yeah, they were going and they're testing out all the different instruments on their ship, different things like that, and taking pictures because they're doing all of this to try to go to the moon and get samples and things like that. And then they're also doing it because they're trying to make it to where whatever they learn, how they can implement it for their trip to Mars and what they'll do when they land on Mars, things like that. So the whole thing is on the NASA's websites, as you can read. I'll be posting some different things in the chat because I always try to share everything that I can get. So yeah, I think they're going to do all that. I don't know if they're going to play golf, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to spend all that kind of money to do that. So, but I think it's wonderful. I think it's really exciting that we're diving in again. And the United States, with a few other countries, I think that help fund NASA to do this, because I just think it's important, not just for us, the adults, but for the kids that are watching and learning about it, to get them to say they're going to be the next step in the exploration department. And I'm just really happy because I really, really wish that we could, just keep doing more and more and see how far we can go. Also, the same thing when it comes to the exploration of the oceans, because it's very hard because of the crushing atmosphere down there, so much, but we've learned that just by going there. So how are we supposed to learn anything about space if we don't ever send, ships out there? But we have to have people that are trained on how to work the machines that they have at their fingertips, and they have to be in healthy enough condition to be able to support taking off. It was so funny. I saw a couple memes making fun of the female astronaut and the G forces on her face, pulling her face down and stuff like that. And then they showed the face of what was her name? Katy Perry or whatever, that was supposedly, was going to the outer limits of Earth or whatever. And you see her smiling and her face never changes. So I don't know. The whole thing was a kind of, really goofy when it came to that whole thing with Katy Perry and the other women all jumping around and everything, because I could see me running in slow motion on a planet, whatever, just to, selfie dollars or whatever for whoever is gonna believe in that shit and share flowers and whatever else. But I just thought it was so funny, a couple of these memes, and I'm sure all of you guys have seen so much shit, that's been out there. It just cracks me up how much actual stupid ass crap that people are putting out about different things, going on out there with these different things that, you could fly and go places and stuff. But you know what? When they sent William Shatner out to be able to look down and see planet Earth, and they had him on camera and stuff, I cried. I was so excited for him because I grew up watching reruns on TV with my dad, watching Star Trek, the original Star Trek, and those old shows like that. And I just loved it. I just loved the experience of thinking that one day I myself would be flying and working, in outer space and traveling to different planets and just things like that as a kid. And that's why I think it's so important to let children, their imaginations run wild, because some of the things that I remember seeing on TV, like lasers and different things like that, and growing plants and different things and seeding them and doing all these different things on a spaceship, they've done now. So, like right now we have red light therapy and green light therapy and these different therapies that they know help you because they tested them in outer space using these different lights and growing plants, things like that, and then studying them. So science is awesome. And I wish every kid had the chance to, do stuff with science. But I want to share this thing. It was really interesting. It's from Gunther Eagleman on X. Former NASA astronaut Captain Butch Whitmore nailed it on the Artemis II signifies for America. We're back. So I just thought that was really cool. But here we go. I'm going to play this little interview. It's not very long.
What does this moment say about who we are as a country?
It does indeed. It has an enormous geopolitical concerns. There's one nation that has gone beyond low Earth orbit in the vicinity of the lunar highlands, and that is the United States of America. And here we are. It's been 54 years. We're back. We're back to stay.
Wow.
Boots on the surface, hopefully in a couple of years, develop and have a base there, establish a presence, learn how to live off the planet, on another surface for extended periods of time and learn how to do that well, and then proceed from here to other destinations, perhaps like Mars, as we've heard for many decades, but now we're on our way.
What is
I think
this
that's
moment?
awesome. Very few people don't believe that we can do it. I at least that's what I've heard. I've only heard very few people, the naysayers or whatever, the ones that usually believe in the flat earth and, everything's fake, everything's done in a movie theater, all that stuff, because they don't have any belief in science, apparently. But I do. I think it's awesome, and I do believe in it. But, you have the right to believe whatever you want, and you don't have to believe in this. But I just wanted to share that because I thought that was a really nice to see another astronaut talking about our chances of what can come from the future by us doing this stuff. So let me see. Oh, hello, Jedi Master. How are you? Oh, you live in Titusville, Florida. You get to watch them. How lucky are you? I have one of my sisters lives in right outside of Miami, and she never has time to go to any of that stuff. But, it's a beautiful state, and I think it's wonderful that so many people get to, go and watch it because it's there for you, and it's free. You don't have to pay unless you want to get real close up or whatever. You have to go through certain things, but to be able to just to go there and be outside the fence and, get to watch it yourself and see what's happening, with science in motion. I just think it's so cool. I just get goosebumps thinking about it. But you're a lucky guy. I wish everyone would have the chance to see stuff like that, but they can. It's not live like you got to see. It's on the internet, like this, or on a TV show or something like that. But still, to take the time in your day to sit and watch some things, and learn about it. It's interesting to me. But I grew up watching, all kinds of documentaries and things. And my father was in the Air Force, and he was jungle survival instructor. So he taught pilots how to survive, if they crashed in the jungle or the desert or next to the ocean or in the water, all those different things. And he had 5 daughters. So you can imagine what his life was like. But Lloyd, that's you got another video for me. You just have to share it in my Discord, and you could, everyone in Discord will be able to watch it. But yeah, anyone that wants to check that out, he put the link in the chat, so you just have to copy it and you can watch it. But please, if you get a chance, do the poll that I put up, because I'm really wanting to see how many of the people that watch me believe that we haven't been to the moon before. because there's a lot of people, and I've been seeing it. And like I see, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Rumble, I'm on Kick, I'm on a lot of different stuff. But it's on here on X. And I've seen a lot of people saying that it's bullshit, it's all lies. Only demons would believe that we can go to an outer space, stuff like that. So it's really sad because I love cosplay. I love going to Comic-Con. I love going to HorrorCon. I love going to all the different things, get to dress up and, and have fun. And I play Dungeons and Dragons, a Pathfinder. I play 3 different games right now. And a couple of them I do get to play live on the internet. And I get a few people that do actually say that that's demon worship, and they just have no idea. It's just like playing a video game. To me, it's even better than a video game because your imagination is always better than an actual video that's laid out for you, and you push and you go this way or that, that type of thing. I think it's wonderful, and I love it. And I wish more kids actually played games like that where they're interacting with other people at a table and rolling dice and things like that than putting it in a machine and just playing it that way. I don't think it's near as exciting and fun. And it doesn't use that as much as you will when you're coming up with your own choices of what to do instead of what a game is pushing you to do. I just think it's way wonderful. But let's see, what was the next thing I had? Okay, this was, I found this on the NASA, one of the NASA pages that people had shared on my timeline. And it's Benson News Hub is who shared it, but it's the live stream. NASA officials take questions on their ship, and it's awesome. So I'm going to play some of this for you in case you haven't seen it. Now I won't have to play the whole thing, but I just think it's great to people to see it. I mean, look how close quarters this is. And I've seen documentaries people inside of a small submarine, going around on the ocean floor. I've seen other people doing documentaries from like inside the oil rigs and on a ship, Navy ships or Navy destroyer, things like that, and seeing the different quarters and stuff and how cramped and confined it is. And you have all these people all doing these different jobs, pushing buttons and twisting dials and flipping switches, and they all have certain jobs they have to do so that everything runs smoothly. So I just think it's great that people get to see this. But here we go. I'm going to start it right here.
The uphill garments, so the comfort garments, we put into the Flight Day 1 clothing bags. So we basically just swapped the locations as we changed into our Flight Day 1 clothing, and we restowed it into the locker that they came out of. Additionally, into that locker, we have our mag trash. It is currently double Ziploc bagged, but it is not in an Orion trash bag. And we prefer to keep it that way because we have all 4 single Ziplocked mags with their odor absorption sheets in one big Ziploc, so the 4 of them together would not fit in an Orion trash bag.
Christina, we copy that location and that request. We're going to assess and let you know if anything needs to change.
Awesome, thanks. I don't know off the top of my head the location of the 4th trash bag, but as I'm putting away the others, I'll come across it and I'll update you with that.
Copy, sounds good.
Another question when you're ready.
Go.
For all of the packing material, this would include clamshells, bubble wrap, Ziplocs, and regular Ziplocs. We basically feel like our training was that we didn't necessarily need to keep the regular Ziplocs, but that it would be good to keep clamshells or any designated unique Ziplocs that are padded for restow. So wanted to double check this understanding and get any guidance if we should do it differently. But again, what we're doing is keeping clamshells, keeping any unique bubble wrapped Ziplocs. We're keeping them with
Apologies to interrupt the crew aboard the Orion spacecraft, but if you are watching on NASA's YouTube, stay tuned. We are expecting our news conference to begin momentarily.
The Artemis II mission is a test mission of the Orion space capsule.
Artemis II will be the first time we put humans on this rocket.
We're going back to the moon because it's the next step in our journey to Mars.
We were always going to the moon.
Pushing ourselves to explore is just core to who we are. That's a part of being a human.
And liftoff. Pre-fuel return.
Continuing to test out every bit of Orion.
Coming back to Earth, 7 miles a second.
When humanity sets big goals, we can bring together genius from around the world.
You have the best people on planet Earth putting this vehicle together. That's what's up.
To innovate for the benefit of humanity and to inspire the world through discovery.
Hey, here we go.
Good afternoon and welcome to NASA's Johnson Space Center for our Artemis mission status update. We are joined today
Do you guys want me to play more of this or just share it in the chat and you guys can watch it later? So I'll pause it for a second and see if anyone replies because it's like 50 minutes long and I'll play it if you guys want to listen to it. But if you're not interested in watching the whole thing, since it was I think it was from 2 days ago, but they are supposed to splash down tomorrow. So, okay, I'll go ahead and play. Here we go.
by Lakeisha Hawkins, Deputy Director for NASA's Artemis program, Judd Freeling, Artemis II Flight Director, and Howard Hugh, Orion Program Manager. We'll be taking questions from here in the room and through our phone bridge, but before we kick that off, we will go ahead and start with opening remarks. Lakeisha, go ahead.
Thank you, and welcome to the third day of Artemis II. We appreciate the continued interest from around the world in the mission and in our crew. Since yesterday's translunar injection burn to send the crew around the moon, the mission continues to perform well overall, and the crew is in great spirits. Currently, the crew is more than 100,000 miles from the Earth and about 150,000 miles to go away from the moon. Victor said that we call amazing things that humans do moonshots for a reason. And indeed, this is literally and symbolically our moonshot that we're in the middle of. It's great to get some very clear video and images of the crew yesterday, and the crew configured their cameras aboard Integrity, and we have some of the latest images to share with you. If you could call up the first image. This first one we got to the ground shows the unique vantage point of the crew as they look back at the Earth. It shows a backlit Earth revealing auroras as the crew heads towards the moon. It was taken by Reed Wiseman out of an Orion window, and it features two auroras, top right and left and bottom left, and zodiacal light, which is at the bottom right. It's visible as the Earth eclipses to sun. It's great to think that with the exception of our four friends, all of us are represented in this image. You could call up the next image, please. This one shows Earth, as you can see, the Terminator line. And Reed also took this photo after translunar injection burn yesterday. What an amazing shot that he shared with us here. So we continue to learn all about our spacecraft as we operated in deep space with crew for the first time. And it's important to remind ourselves of that as we learn a little bit more day by day. So Judd, if you could talk a little bit more about details.
All right, thanks, Lakeisha. Let's see. So when we last left yesterday, after the translunar injection, the crew did some press conferences with media. They did a detailed inspection of their windows. They also had planned medical conferences. And while they were sleeping, the ground did some looking at the crew module and service module, a survey to just see how the vehicle is doing from an external view. We also continued some OpComm passes, so the optical comm antenna that we have on board to downlink high rate images. We were able to do that overnight. This morning when the crew woke up, they had their normal planning conferences, and then they were able to do their family conferences, so they were to talk to their family. And they also did another noise characterization of how loud the toilet was. So they performed that. We had planned today a trajectory correction burn for OTC1 is what it's called, orbital trajectory correction. The systems are doing so well, navigation and propulsion systems together, that was not needed. So we'll roll that in to the next planned trajectory correction tomorrow. And I'll hand it over to Howard to talk any specifics on the Orion systems.
Thanks, Judd. Great to be here again. Let's see, our subsystems continue to perform very well. Everything is nominal and as expected. So really good to report that today to you. As Judd said, we did the translunar injection yesterday, and we get a chance to look at the data. And the propellant usage was within 5% of our predicted usage limits. So it was really good to see it go so well. And the performance for that 5 minutes, 50 seconds was outstanding.
I want to pause it for just a second. One thing we living on planet Earth right now are so lucky to have is the fact that so many of us have cell phones, right? Which connects us so that when I didn't get to watch it live, but many people got to watch this live and during the time that the spaceship was out there almost to the moon or whatever. The thing is that so many people will never have this chance, because I remember reading about when they did a radio show and they were talking during the show, they were reading the story, The War of the Worlds, and that people were freaking out, the ones that actually had radio, thinking that we were being invaded by aliens from another planet. So just be thankful that we are in a day and age where we can see things happen almost instantaneously if we choose to, or if we have the right type of phone or the right type of telescopes, different things like that. So I feel blessed that plus I feel blessed that I'm in the the United States of America, and had the right to watch it live, comment on it. Like some of these people that say they don't believe in any of this stuff, they have the right to say that. But in another country, if you said something negative against the government or anything else, guess what? They come to your door and arrest you. So I'm thankful that I live in America and I have the opportunity to get to watch this stuff live as it's happening, and learn and copy, paste it, save it, bookmark it, put it on my own little drive for later on. So I think it's wonderful that we have this opportunity and we have the right to do it. And then we have NASA being so transparent about showing us things that are going, letting people write in questions, like the little boy that wrote the letter to the astronauts saying, please make Pluto a planet again, things like that. I just think it's wonderful. And I hope that after this mission's over, that they'll have a couple of the astronauts getting to go to different places, to colleges or to schools, or making special videos and documentaries to put out there for people to be able to watch. I really hope they do that, because I really think it's important to keep it out here for the regular people that don't get to know or understand these things on a daily basis, like people that work in this industry. Here we go.
Let's see, across other subsystems, no issues relative to solar array and power generation. The air revitalization system is doing very well. We are scrubbing CO2 at very good, healthy levels. We're keeping the humidity in the right range. And the crew, obviously you've seen, looks like they're enjoying their time in the cabin. And across various other subsystems, like I said earlier, we're performing as expected or better in some cases. Now we are working through one issue with the SM prop in terms of pressurization. So we have helium that pressurizes the propellant tanks, basically pushes out the oxidizer and the fuel in order to make some of the major burns. And so we had to shut off, isolate one of the branches. We have redundant branches in the system, no emission impacts. This is why we build redundancy in the system. But we're evaluating that. We're looking at that. That's maybe something you heard on the loop relative to what we need to do to isolate this particular branch. The second branch is ready to go. And when I say no mission impacts, we're able to perform the rest of the burns across the mission without doing any regulation, what we call blowdown mode. In other words, there's enough helium pressure in the tanks itself that we can push out the oxidizer and the fuel without needing to regulate or require more helium from the helium tanks. So overall, our redundant capabilities are providing the coverage that we need as we move across the mission. Let's see. Yesterday also, I think somebody asked this question, but the crew was able to exercise. And I said yesterday, I think we talked a little about any performance implications on the guidance navigation control system and talked to our experts, and there were no implications on that. So performed as expected in terms of what we thought the forces that would get imparted when the crew does the flywheel, that we addressed that very clearly through our design. And I'm happy to see that performance held up very well. Let's see, I have, I guess, my own couple images that Lakeisha showed you some, and I have a couple of my favorites. So the first one is just awesome to see from our spaceship. Out the window, our beautiful home planet, the Earth. I believe Reed took this picture, and it just brings a lot of great emotion to me, and to see that picture being taken. I know there's a lot of other pictures that we're going to see that are just going to be outstanding and fantastic to be.
I have to pause again. So many people, I'm not saying, millions or whatever, there's quite a few people are going to say this is fake. And the reason they're going to say that is because the Earth isn't round. They honestly believe the Earth is flat, and that these are fake. Even though every single photo ever taken in my lifetime that I've ever seen shows a curve when there's an eclipse. Just a curve, not a straight line. And how is it always the round side that's always against the sun? That type of thing. I just think it's ridiculous. And I can't believe how many people I've actually talked to that really believe the Earth is flat. That's all I wanted to add. Sorry.
Be able to enjoy. And then the second one, I had not seen the crew in a while. I've obviously heard them, but to see them in the interview, I do believe that I think Jeremy is too comfortable that way. I'm not sure he's working that hard, so I'm gonna have to check to see if he's doing anything more than just laying there on the side here. But great to see the crew, great to see their smiling faces, and hear them talk about their experience already so far. And I can't wait to talk to them when they land home back Earth. And I think that's it for me today.
All right, thank you. We will go ahead and start our Q&A session. If you're in the room, please raise your hand if you have any questions. And if you're on our phone bridge, please press *1. We'll start right here with Mark in the back.
Hey, hello, everyone. Good to see you all again. Mark Strassman with CBS. John, I want to ask you a question, if it's okay. There are millions of Americans, unlike people in this room, who are just catching up with the fact that there's a moonshot going on this week. Who knew? So I want to just sort of scoot ahead to Monday's milestone, the lunar flyby. Why does it matter? What do you hope to get out of it?
So it matters because, the whole point is to go back to the moon. The whole point of this mission is a campaign to get back to the moon. And the being able to see with human eyes the lunar surface is a huge milestone, right? And that just articulates the point, that we're going back to the moon. We're going to stay there, right? And so this is the first step towards that. We'll obviously build upon that. We'll get eyes on the moon, kind of map it out, and then continue to go back and in force.
I remember, gosh, I don't know when it was, but it was like maybe 20 years ago, I guess, when I saw a documentary and they were talking about wanting to build a base on the moon. And the reason they said it would be so great is that if we could get everything we need up there, then they could mine and do other things, but they would be able to build rockets and satellites and other things. And it would be so much easier to send things off because of the less gravity type thing. So I don't know. And there, on that same show was also solar sails, where they didn't have, like jet fuel and stuff. They used somehow the sun and stuff. I'm not a real smart person when it comes to solar winds and all those different things, but I think it's really interesting, and I wish I knew more. I wish I had more time to sit and watch some of them, but I think they're so interesting, and I'm so thankful to have people like these people that are doing this interview to be able to explain stuff in terms for people like me to actually understand what they're trying to explain, because I just think it's just amazing that we're doing some of the things that we're doing now.
Yeah, I think maybe I'll go next. I think for us, I'll just touch or follow on what Judd said, which is the building blocks. We're building a transportation system. And to have a reliable and robust transportation system, you need to test flight the transportation system. And I think that's really important. We've demonstrated on Artemis I with uncrewed capability. We've added a very important aspect of it, which is the crewed capability. And that crewed capability enables us to really understand how, when we have people in the cabin, how the systems operate and adjustments we need to make. You hear a lot of these kinds of things that over the loop, minor adjustments we need to do. Certainly engineering expertise and the design we put in has a certain understanding, but until you put people in the mix and you operate it and really understand what you need to do to operate in this kind of environment, you don't get that until you're in that environment. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, part of what we're doing is the technical aspects and what we are learning from taking ourselves around the moon. The other part, obviously, is what you talked about, which is capturing the imagination of people, right? And we have far more engagement than we had hoped to have, and we hope that will increase as we continue to take further and further steps into this mission.
Okay, we'll take our next question here in the front, and then Eric next.
Hi, Mark Kirkman with NSF. This is probably for both Judd and Howard. I'm very fascinated, we just saw some imagery of the waste dump, and I'm very fascinated with the prediction of needing the correction burns versus what's going to be the reality. I was wondering, because there's so little available material on this on the subsystems, at least publicly available material. Can you summarize the things other than the waste dump that would affect or perturb the trajectory? What vents off of this vehicle as opposed to what we know from shuttle like fest dumps and stuff like that? And were you surprised that you didn't need this burn? Are we tighter in the prediction than is the reality tighter than the prediction was so far?
Yeah, so two parts to that question. First, so the major contributor to dispersions is what we call them, basically unplanned little tiny jets, are the carbon dioxide scrubbers. So they vent overboard, right? Vent the CO2 overboard. And so that's it's supposed to be a non-propulsive vent, but it has some propulsion to it, just like the urine vent has a little bit of propulsion to it. So that causes minor trajectory deviations. Were we surprised that the orbiter correction or the trajectory correction was a no-burn? No, not at all. I mean, it's well within bounds. What happens really is we have a threshold by which if the required correction is low enough, That means that our fidelity on our lowest thrusting jets, our reaction control system, it's just not worth it, right? And so we'll just build up more errors and fix it on the next trajectory correction burn.
I think it's really good to see that we don't need these minor correction burns. It shows that our navigation performance and our ability to get ranging has been outstanding, and that these venting things, whether it's wastewater or the life support CO2 venting, doesn't cause the disturbances that are greater than what we would expect in terms of our performance. And I believe, I think we might have skipped maybe two. I know we skipped one correction burn on Artemis I already. And so it's not unexpected. And so the flight control team gets an opportunity to determine when the delta V is very small, whether we actually need to execute that burn or not.
Okay, Eric, go ahead.
Eric Berger, Ars Technica. Yesterday, Howard, you made a comment about you wanted a little more humidity in the capsule, I think during the briefing, which as a Houston resident is always kind of funny to hear. But just now you mentioned that the humidity level was up and good. And maybe you could just talk about sort of the comfort in the cabin. I think there have been some questions about temperature. So kind of what temperature swings and what's the ambient temperature and sort of crew cabin comfort level?
Yeah, I'll let Judd start with the crew cabin temperature and I can follow up. Why don't we try that?
Yeah, so we had a cabin temperature that was in the mid 70s when we first got on orbit, and then we turned off some of the shell heaters, and the temperature dropped around about 65 degrees or so, and then we understood that the crew was not comfortable at 65 degrees. So we turned some of those shell heaters on. We lowered some cabin fan speeds to try to adjust that, and we've gotten up into the low 70s, mid 70s right now. And as far as humidity, I think Howard mentioned this yesterday, but the carbon dioxide scrubbers really actually want some a good amount of humidity so that they work effectively.
Yeah, so I'll answer. We've got a lot of different kind of knobs to turn to enable the comfort level or temperature changes. For example, the pressure vessel heaters that Judd's talking about, we can go up to 85 degrees. We're not anywhere close to that yet. So that's one knob. And we have other things where we could slow down the coolant loop speed as well in terms of how we trade the heat or the coolant that's necessary to go into the cabin as well. So a lot of different options are available. And overall, keeping a steady state relative to humidity in the cabin allows us to make sure we get good readings also from the CO2 and the CO2 scrubbing associated with that humidity.
I do want to remind us, though, that this is a part of what we want to do. We want an opportunity to be able to exercise these knobs that Howard is referring to so that we have a good characterization of the system going forward. We understand the capability of the spacecraft and its systems. This is what we want.
Yep.
Yeah, they're supposed to be coming home tomorrow. So you'll be able to watch. And I have a link that I'm going to share at the end for you to be able to bookmark so you can watch them, I guess, the splashdown and everything else. So I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see that. And I can't wait to see what they say in their, interviews. And I know they've done a lot of little videos and a couple of little live streams during the event, but after they come back home safely, it's going to be really, really cool to see the excitement in them, and them talking about their experience, because to get to go, I mean, do we have anybody alive that was in any of these flights that went to the moon before or got to go near the moon or whatever? So I think it's going to be really exciting to actually have people on the planet Earth that got to fly around the moon and send back photos and stuff. I just think this is historical, and it should be. And hopefully this team will be able to go back again, at least all the people on it, maybe take one more person or something like that, for depending on what they're going to be doing once they land. on the moon on the next trip. And all of this stuff is preparing them to get the information they need and to know what they need to do to change the suits and different things that they're going to work on preparing for their longer journey to go to Mars. So at least that's what some of the things that I was reading on the website for NASA. And I just think it's wonderful, because how many young people right now that are in high school and college that are taking courses that can help them do something like this. I think most people probably feel they have to join the military to be able to go in the Air Force or something like that to even be able to do this stuff, right? But I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what you have to do or what your credentials have to be able to work for NASA. And the thing is, just because you can't actually fly in a ship to go somewhere doesn't mean you can't help. They're going to need all kinds of tools and equipment once they're there and to use while they're there, all types of things. So we're going to need a lot of people that understand how to do those things and to make the equipment they're going to need to take with them. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That's why this kind of stuff's important. Someone would have told you years ago that we would never be able to have a submarine that ever see the bottom of the ocean. And look what we've seen. Really creepy down there. And that there's so much life down there by the vents, the thermal vents and things like that. Who thought, I can tell you right now, my grandparents would never would have believed that we would ever be able to do things like that. So just, 50 years of time, isn't it been like 50 years, something like that, since we had astronauts land on the moon? So it's hopefully the technology's gotten so much better that we won't have to wait so far in between different things that we're doing to be able to do more and go to other places, because we've already figured out that there's nitrogen and other, chemicals, things that we wouldn't even thought of on other planets, so I don't know. I just think all of this is so interesting. Do you want me to keep playing this interview or not? Because it is like, it's not even halfway. It's only 19 minutes in, a 53-minute interview. And I don't want to play it if everybody's not interested in watching the whole thing. I think it's interesting, but I've had a couple people say yes. That's why I was playing it more. But I just think it's interesting. It helps you understand why they're doing it and how they're doing it and what they've learned already about what's going on in there, about whether they're comfortable or not with the temperature that's in there inside their rocket, things like that. 57 years. Wow. That's been a long, long time. I mean, golly. Wow. It's amazing, isn't it? And I think it was my dad that told me that the technology it took to go to outer space was all on this. This is how much, information, basically. That's a lot, though. We don't really think about it, how much information is actually on your cell phone with a few electronics, but this data that you're able to store on it. That's why it's so interesting when you see these, when you have different police officers, FBI, and all that break in to one of these data centers, and they break in and there's like 600 phones all on these mounts, and they're all, doing bot stuff, stealing people's information off the internet. And it's all phones, it's all the data that's put onto these things. And my dad told me when he was young and he first joined the military that they already had GPS and stuff like that. So the stuff that we're using when, I think it was, I can't remember the name of it, Tom or something like that, and some other things. Because right now I have this thing on my car. I can just push buttons and a map comes up, tells you which direction to go, and tells you whether there's a slow traffic. We've got so much at the fingertips while we're driving that people never had. They had to use a map and lay it out and everything else. It's just that we've come so far, and it's just amazing that we're able to do what we're doing right here. And I just think it's just, to me, is awesome. So I'll go back to the interview.
Okay, we'll take our next question right here.
Thank you, Mark Carreau with Aviation Week in Space Technology. I wanted to refer back to the external survey you did with solar array cameras of the Orion and the service module, just to see if you saw anything initially of concern that would have been damage to the exteriors, or it looks good.
Yeah, I have not personally seen the photos from our survey. I did watch it a little bit on TV as well, but I have not heard anything that we're concerned about, Mark. I think we will continue to go to fine detail and look at the pictures. Our thermal protection system team is doing that right now, and they'll give me a report out tomorrow morning and show me anything that they found relative to any damage. But we don't see anything relative to the back shell panels or anything like that that would cause anything of concern based on a preliminary understanding.
Okay, Jackie, go ahead.
Hi, Jackie Waddles, CNN. Thanks for doing this. Quick question for Judd or Howard. I understand that during the latest communication with crew, they were talking about mopping up some kind of leak with towels. I'm not sure I understood exactly what was going on. I'd love some insight there. And then tomorrow, there's a couple of things on the schedule I'd love to hear more about with this manual piloting, test flight test objective, and a selfie moment. I'd love some insight into what's going on there. Thanks so much.
Sure. So mopping up water. So it's not uncommon for whenever they're filling drink bags for a little bit of water to come out. The particular incident I think that the crew was talking about likely was as we were filling the contingency water bags. Whenever we had to fill them, there's a straw and a syringe, and you put a towel around it to make sure water didn't come out. There's also a feature of the potable water dispenser such that when you turn the valve off, it still dribbles out water for a little bit. So those probably the couple of things that they're talking about. As far as tomorrow's objectives, manual piloting. So we're going to do two different modes. It's called 6 DOF and 3 DOF, 6 degrees of freedom and 3 degrees of freedom. It's different thruster modes, how much control that you have in all the axes and translation. So we're just it's another test objective of how the vehicle handles. And selfie, I think that's probably a selfie of the Orion vehicle with the cameras.
Yeah, very similar to what we did on Artemis I, where we had, I think, the biggest selfie stick in the world and allowed us to take all those beautiful pictures. We were originally intended to have those solar array cameras do the survey that Mark was referring to that we did today. But because we were performing so well that we were able to use one of the arrays as a selfie stick. And so that was terrific.
All right, we'll head to the phone bridge for a few questions. Our first question there is from Joseph Howlett with Scientific American.
Hi, Joseph Howlett here, Scientific American. I'm curious about how the crew is faring on board, how their spirits are. I was surprised that they only got to talk to their family now. And how did those conferences go?
Yeah, so we'll say a little bit about that. They are in great spirits, and they are really excited about the opportunity to be there and what's going on. Obviously, they've been very, very busy the first couple of days, especially leading up to translunar injection. But now that we've gotten through that, that's why there's been an opportunity for them to do things like have a conversation with their families. And in terms of the great things that are going on, they did get awakened this morning with a song called In a Daydream by the Freddie Jones Band. So there's a lot of fun things going on in addition to a lot of hard work.
Okay, our next question on the phone bridge is from Micah Maidenberg with the Wall Street Journal.
Hey, I just had a couple of quick ones for Judd. Judd, I wanted to make sure I understood this lunar science observation period. So during that 6-hour period, that's when Orion's traveling around the far side of the moon for the entire stretch of that, or not? And do you know approximately when on Monday that 6-hour period begins, like in Eastern or Central time? Thanks so much.
Yes, I can get that for you. As far as what we're doing, it's essentially when we start our closest approach to the moon. It's pretty much the entirety of that day we'll be able to see the moon. And so what we're doing is we're doing visual observations, taking camera shots of the moon and the like. As far as when we start it, it's going to be UTC of around 1830 UTC on the 6th. So subtract 5, that's 1330 Central Time, and it'll be going on for most all of that day, right? Because they'll be at their closest approach and pretty close thereabouts during that entire time.
Okay, we'll take one more question on the phone bridge and then back here in the room. Our next question is from Marcia Dunn with the Associated Press.
Oh, hi. Thanks for taking this. Probably for you, Judd. NOAA just issued a geomagnetic storm watch, G2, coronal mass ejection. I know you guys are watching this throughout the mission, but will this one, it doesn't seem to be too bad, but will the crew be doing any precautionary measures because of this? And same question from yesterday. What's the latest revised numbers for closest approach to the moon, all the numbers and distances? Thank you.
All right. Yes. So we do have our radiation specialists that monitor all of that stuff. And if any of the sunspot coronal mass ejections happen from the sun, if they get to be a concern, then obviously we have mitigations, radiation shelters we put up. We do not expect that from this one, but we are continually monitoring that. As far as the updated numbers, I've got in statute miles, should be 252,757 statute miles at our furthest distance from the Earth.
You're not going to convert that to nautical miles?
I think Howard's got an app for that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take our next question right here. Go ahead.
Hi, Lauren Grutch from Bloomberg. Thanks so much. I just wanted to go back to that helium issue you were talking about earlier. You said you isolated that one branch. Just wondering if there's any concern if the second branch that you're relying on now has a similar issue, or is that redundancy you mentioned earlier, would that kick in for this problem? And then I've just been listening to the loops, and it sounds like there have been various, I guess, sensor issues or issues that are cropping up that don't seem to be an issue, like there was a suspected cabin leak, caution alarms that were coming on, but then turned out to be false alarms. I'm just curious if you're sensing any pattern with that, or is that just random glitches for a test flight like this?
Yeah, I'll start. Yeah, the other second branch on the oxidizer side is performing very well. No issues there. And so again, that redundancy is there. And I said earlier, we do not need to regulate either on that line either for the rest of the burns. So I think both redundancy paths are in good shape. I would say, and I'll let Judd maybe talk some specifics. In general, Lakeisha said earlier, we're learning from this vehicle, and the caution warnings are based on, limits. And those limits are established jointly with the engineering team and the flight operations team. However, we have to operate in the environment. We have to, account for variations. And so I think sometimes we don't get it fully right. And when we don't, we correct it, and we'll make adjustments real time where we can. And if we need to, we'll make adjustments for the future as well once we get all the data. So I think all those things are part of the learning that we're doing, and certainly good to keep the team on their toes. And making sure that we're not only watching the systems very carefully, but we understand what the system is telling us, and we're adjusting based on what we understand from the data.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. So it's important to remember on Artemis I, we didn't have a caution and warning system. because we didn't have a crew on board that we needed to alert them about, right? And so while we did measure, all of the things we did, we obviously didn't have an ECLIS system on board either, so that we knew what the behavior that was going to be. So this is all part of exactly what Lakeisha is talking about. This is learning. This is learning how the vehicle operates with the human system in the loop, right?
Okay, we'll go to Bill next.
Hi, Bill Harwood with CBS News. This is a question I get asked a lot, and I realize that it depends on who you ask how it gets answered. But given all the Apollo missions, the satellites that we've had around the moon at much lower altitudes than these guys are going to be at, the question I get is, what do human eyes really bring to this? Even if they've got nice cameras in their hands, they're a long way from the surface. I mean, 4,000 miles. What is this bringing that we don't already have from satellites and past missions? And I'm not saying that as a devil's advocate. I'm curious how you frame that in terms of the priorities of the mission. Thanks.
You want me out first? I can start, yeah. So my understanding, talking with the scientists, is that your eyes, the human eyes, can resolve details much better than taking a picture and then looking at the picture, even with a telephoto lens. And so that observation that the scientists are looking for is really what's key, even from as far as away as you mentioned, 4,000 miles. There are still things that the human eye can pick up with granularity that are important to the science community. Now, I can't talk about what those specific things that the science community is looking for, but that's my understanding.
Yeah, I think I'll try to maybe repeat what I said earlier. When I tell people this, and it's really purely from a spacecraft side, when we talk about wanting to have a moon base, wanting to have people on the surface of the moon or other planets, you need a way to transport people safely to that particular domain. And to me, it's very important that we do everything we can to understand and provide that capability in a robust and reliable way. And you have to walk before you can run. And I think this is very important in our step towards exploration, is learning, as we talked about earlier with all these questions relative to our subsystems, learning about how the subsystems operate in space. How do we put people in space, especially to the moon first? We haven't done that in over 53 years. This is a whole new generation of learning that we're trying to do. Certainly we learned a lot from our Apollo, I call giants, but we have our own learning to do, and we're trying to be more capable, and we're trying to provide more numerous opportunities to go to the moon so that we can put people down on the surface.
All right, we'll take our next question right here. Go ahead.
Hi, Michael Adkison, Houston Public Media. I know you guys are all too familiar with the Apollo 8 comparisons to this mission. They obviously did their Christmas Eve broadcast, and Sunday is Easter. We're in the midst of Passover, and Ramadan even was a couple of weeks ago. Are there any plans to do any sort of downlinks to mark the occasion or anything like that?
There will be an opportunity, obviously, to hear from the crew, and we will be having a conversation in terms of what they intend to share with us. They are always inspirational in their communication with us, and we're really looking forward to that.
Okay, we'll take our next question right here in the middle.
Hi, TG Mascara with the Epoch Times. Thank you so much. My question, Howard, what specific things have exceeded your expectations in terms of the Orion spacecraft?
Wow, that's interesting. I would say that, just how happy and how well trained the crew is and our teams are to just work through just minor issues that we've had. To me, it's not so much an exceedance of expectation. I expect that, but just to see it in play, just to see how well that's working out. And of course, I expect our spacecraft to perform, but you never know. This is why we have a flight test, and it makes me very happy to see that although we have some minor issues to deal with, the team operates very well with the crew, both on the ground collectively between our mission evaluation room, our flight control team, and with the crew together, working together. And of course, the spacecraft is responding in a way that, of course, we knew about from Artemis I. Every spacecraft is different, but the process is the same, the rigorous testing that we do and the analysis we do. And so I would say that it's always good to beat expectations.
Richard Two of the Post newspaper. A question for Judd. Talking a little bit like a different aspect of this. So with the MCC, can you talk about so many moving parts make this mission successful coming out of that department? What's the tone and the consensus of the controllers, the directors, as they see this mission transpire, and what are they thinking as far as how things are going so far in the mission?
So my sense is that there's a lot of people that are very excited, right? And excited not only for the overall general, objective that we're going back to the moon, but also just from, there's a lot of time that people have invested in training for this mission, developing the mission, being able to work well with all of the teams together. And to see that come together, I think there's a lot of excitement there, and it shows.
Going off that question, just curious, the technology's changed so much in mission control from the Apollo days to Artemis. Is there anything that you all have learned during this mission? Have you made any changes in mission control? We see the astronauts are making changes on the fly. I'm just curious to know if any changes are being made in mission control as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hear it in all of the funnies we see with sensors, the way they behave, the way the systems behave. That means that we are all reacting to that, and we are developing on the fly different ways than we originally thought how we would operate the vehicle. And so that is always an iterative process, right? And I think you're seeing demonstration of that in real time, that we're iterating on not only learning about the vehicle, but also how to iteratively operate the vehicle as well.
Okay, we'll take another question right here in the room.
Yeah, hi, Beverly Casillas for Space Scout. Thanks again for doing this. Two quick questions. The first one, so we heard that the optical communications demo is already being used to downlink some imagery from the spacecraft. It sounds like that happened overnight. Are there any plans to potentially do any transmission of live video during the mission? And is that something we would get to see if so? And then a second question, because it sounds like Orion's maneuvering has been really precise during the mission so far, what are you hoping to learn during this mission about guidance and navigation and PNT in the lunar environment? And is there anything that you're kind of already learning about that process? Thanks.
So I'll take the first part. For optical comm, the way the trajectory is set up, unfortunately, the only passes that we have with Goldstone are when the crew is asleep. And so anything that we have downlinked would be just video that you're already kind of seeing, higher resolution of the spacecraft looking back at either the moon or the Earth. And so for that purposes, we're really going to just use it for high-res video downlink. And then your second question.
I think I'll take the.
Yeah, why don't you take that? Yeah.
Can you repeat your second question? I think you said something. Correct my ears. Guidance, navigation, control. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to share that really quick in the chat again, so anyone who wants to watch it can. Hold on, so you can get caught up on it. Thank you, Joe, for stopping in. I really appreciate when you come in and say hi, because everyone should know that if you don't speak, we don't know who's in here. We just see a number. We don't see that anyone, what anyone's names are, what your profile is, or anything like that. But if you're interested in watching the rest of this, the actual live stream that they did, NASA did, letting people ask questions and things like that, I just shared it in the chat with you, and it will be in the recorded part in the chat. So you can keep up with that and find out more, or share it with other people who may not have gotten to see it. So I just wanted to do that really quick. It's great to see you again. See you later. I'll try to stop in whenever it pops up on my thing, and I can come in and just say hello and watch your show a little bit, see what's going on. But I really do try to do that. But take care, and I'll see you later. Bye. So the next thing that I thought was pretty interesting, because it's neat, because we have Elon Musk also sharing things on X. And I think that's interesting because, he's into the whole thing about wanting to go to Mars and things like that himself. So I wonder if he's doing anything, helping out or anything. I haven't seen his name mentioned on anything or anything like that. But it says this is passing close to the moon, and it's showing a video of it. So I'm going to push play because it's really slow. See the Earth down here? You can see it moving. To me, it's so interesting what this looks like. And so many people still don't believe it. But look at that. Look out there. It's nothing. It's just a void, Very, 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 very interesting. The thing is, I could never do this because I get motion sickness, but it's still so cool to watch this whole thing, getting to see how they're traveling around it and getting such awesome pictures. But see, a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's all fake, it's AI, it's not real, whatever it is, which is fine, because you're going to always have naysayers. We've always had them, and they're going to always be them. There's nothing you can do about it. And the wonderful experience of the actual people who got to go and look down and see this, it's just wonderful for them. I'm so happy for them to get to do something that so many people dream to get to do, and they actually got to do it. It's like awesome. And every kid that dreams of doing something like this, maybe being an astronaut, is going to look up to all 4 of these astronauts that got to do this. And the next time they go up there and they actually land on the moon, we're going to have, 4 or whatever amount more people today are, kids today are going to say, they're heroes, basically. It's going to be so cool if we get to see the astronauts on boxes of cereal and things like that, like they used to. You get to see the Wheaties box with all the, athletes on the front and people from the Olympics. Because I remember, I think it was one of my aunts that used to collect boxes of cereal with, different Olympic stars on them. They're probably worth a lot of money today. I don't know. It's interesting though that the different, because I'm a collector, because I collect, like little, like stuff like this, Wolverine, and other things, because I just I go to cons and and I got lots of little collectibles around, but and plus I collect stuff like this. This is my dice tower for when I play Dungeons and Dragons, and someone made me this, the Crafting Gamer. He made that for me, and I just love it. And I use it every week when I play. And I just have, this is the stuff that I like. And a lot of people collect things. It doesn't necessarily have to be, what I collect. They can collect other things, the boxes of cereal or whatever it is they want. But some kids might be collecting, different ships, that, collection, of things that they put together. Today, a kid can put together Legos of, different ships, the space shuttle, and maybe this ship that's flying right now will be made into a Lego set so kids can put them together. I just think it's awesome. I mean, you have kids that love SpongeBob SquarePants and put Legos together. I went to Vegas this last summer and went to a huge store that sold nothing but Lego sets. I mean, hundreds of dollars worth. I mean, one set you could get was like, $700 or $800, for huge sets of stuff. And it's not just kids. People are buying these for adults, and they have, their whole basement all air conditioned and lights and shelves and everything with all their Legos. And I've posted a few things that I've built, like the Avengers Tower, and I've built, Bender, and I've got a Futurama ship, and plus I have models because I have like a Klingon warbird and it's the Enterprise and the space shuttle, all kinds of little things like that. And I enjoy doing it. And I crochet and I sew costumes. I do a lot of things, but I'm very crafty. If it's something I can make with my own hand, I'll do it. If I can try it, at least try to do it. So a lot of people want to do that. Paint, photography. And I think everyone should try all these things. But if a kid wants to dream about one day maybe being a astronaut, I think he should have the chance to do that. And it's sad because we have a lot of people out there that if they believe that this is all fake, they're not going to let their kid, watch this stuff, and they're going to get on to them and say, "Nah, you can't do that. I'm not letting you do that. That's bad," or or whatever. And it's really sad that a lot of people aren't going to be able to do any of this stuff. But let's see, what was this other one? I think it's this one. Yeah, here was the other one I found on my timeline. It says this is a relay race. Mission specialist Christina Koch describes how the Artemis II astronauts have not only been focused on their mission, but all future missions, which will build on their lessons learned and successes. And isn't that how we should? We teach our kid, get on your bicycle, teach them, try to how to ride your bike with training wheels, until they feel more comfortable. Then you take the training wheels off and then they go. And you're like, freaking out, they're going to fall and break their arm or something like that. But we have to do it. We all have to learn to do things on our own. Sooner or later, drive a car, roller skate, ride a bike, surf, or whatever it is that we have out there. We have to try different things. But I just thought this was really cute. So here we go. I'm going to make this big so you can listen. But look at all four of them in this cramped little area. And I just think it's awesome. But it just looks so cool with all the padding around. I guess they would have to have that to protect the instruments and them banging, their hands or their head or foot or whatever into it, since there's really no up or down. You know what I mean? I just think it's really cool. Here we go.
Well, I love this question because part of our ethos as a crew and our values from the very beginning were that this is a relay race. In fact, we have batons that we bought to symbolize physically that. We plan to hand them to the next crew, and every single thing that we do is with them in mind. Oftentimes, it's actually easier in human spaceflight, especially on a first mission, to accept some of the things that aren't working quite right or the operational workarounds. And we have actually been diligent to try to fix everything. And we're always thinking from the perspective as what is the next crew going to think about this? How will this help them to succeed? So manual piloting the vehicle, making sure that the procedures and the processes for making everything work are all as they should be. Then there's the human side of it. How are our provisions? How are our food? How is the human system working in here? Taking the time to do all of the developmental flight test objectives that have been scheduled. So both in the vehicle and all in the last 3 years, we've really just worked to make sure that they are set up for success. And that's all of the teams, not just the crew, but the flight control teams, the mission engineering rooms, the launch teams, everyone. We've done our best to bring folks together and to make sure that we can be the best they can be. Obviously, just putting humans in this vehicle is the easy thing to see, and we hope that we've capitalized on that and made it as much as it can be for our time here.
That's awesome. And the fact that they let the lady do the talking, I guess, is really gentlemanly of them. They didn't have to do that, but I just think it's great. I think this is awesome. And all four of these people are going to be in history books because of this. And I just think it's wonderful. And that's one reason why I wanted to talk about it tonight on the show, is because to me, it's important that people know what's going on, especially when we have so much openness and they're willing to share what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how they're doing it. You know what I mean? So that young minds can see this and hopefully decide, hey, that's what I want to get involved in. Maybe I can help in some way with building, different things they're going to use to get around on the different planets, on the moon and on Mars, or help build places for people to live, all that stuff. How they're going to get water on those planets, how they're going to grow plants or whatever it is. I just think it's wonderful because this is opening a whole new world for our kids right now in first, second, third grade, fourth grade, of where they might want to be one day. I just think it's wonderful, and I'm so thankful that we're doing it. But let's see, I think this is the next one. Yeah, here's one of the pages I'm definitely going to share the link for you, because the whole thing, it's all about the different ships and what they're going to be used for as across there. And then it shows you what they're doing. It has all updates of things that they've already done and things that they're planning on doing and how they're going to do it. Just their steps that they're going to take to accomplish their goals. And to me, it's great because they're actually giving you information for you to research for yourself, look into, and then they got the pictures right here of all the crew that are right now and be coming back to Earth tomorrow. I just think it's wonderful that they're doing all this. I mean, it's just amazing. And see, the person doing this website, or the people, doing this website, they're part of the team that's making this successful, because the more people learn about it and share with others, it inspires other people. Just like they were saying in the live stream that they did. If no one knows about it, you can't inspire young people to ever want to become astronauts or to work at NASA or another agency that helps work on the technology they need for different things they might need to be able to do these trips, or when they're going to build on the other planets, what they're going to need, while they're there. I just think it's wonderful. And I'm so thankful that I'm getting to see it unfold right in front of me, because it's been like 50 something years since the last time that we went to the moon. But let me, I'm copying right now the website for that I just showed you, so that you can get that and share it yourself, or go there and just research the whole page, bookmark it, and go and start reading. It's very, very interesting. But let me see what this other thing is. Okay, that one I already shared that. Just shared that. And oh, here we go. This is the next one I want to share. Yeah, some good stuff. Yeah, I've been digging around a lot this morning. But yeah, there's some great stuff. But this is an actual live stream. It's set up. And right here it's showing you how many days they've been out on this whole thing, doing this mission. And you're getting to see what they're doing right now. Because you got to remember, on that ship, they're probably have different people sleeping, different people awake, different people doing different things, because I don't know what time they're in, what their schedule is or anything like that, but I'm sure there's somebody doing something all the time, so it's not boring. Taking notes on whatever's going on, and putting things in, putting things away, because every time they eat, they have to get everything out and eat it and then put it right back, because you can't have everything just floating around, bumping into stuff, and they got to be real careful when they're moving around so that they don't damage any of their equipment and things like that. So I think it's just really good, and I'm glad they're doing a live stream, because it's letting all of us take a peek on what they're doing and how they're doing it. And when they get back, we'll get to actually see the people that were in this. I just think it's amazing, and it's history in the making for the people that believe it, because there are quite a few people that are going to say, oh, it's bullshit, it's not real. But that's what we have, in the world. Half the world believes in stuff and the other people don't. So, or a third don't, or whatever it is. But you're going to always have naysayers. So you just have to believe what you want to believe and not believe what you don't want to believe. So that's just the way it is. So let's see. I'm going to share that real quick so that you can go and look at it. You know what? You're not the first person I've heard say that. I've had multiple people think that we've been to Mars before, and a lot of people that actually believe that people lived on Mars, and because of some disaster that happened, they had to leave. So I don't know. It's very interesting. But until we get to go there and actually, get samples and do like sonar down into the planet and things like that and see what was there before, if anything, it's going to be interesting. And I just hope I'm alive by the time we're able to do it, because, I don't know how many years it might take to be able to go there. But I just think it's very exciting. Anyways, I just love it. I think it's great. But yeah, I know. I'm just saying that some people believe that we have been there before. I'm just saying. And, I'm willing to listen, to see whether or not, when they do go there, if the person that was telling me all these different things about it before were even remotely close. You know what I mean? To me, it's interesting. It's like, reading a story when you were a kid, and then seeing something later on when you're an adult that is like, oh my gosh, it's almost exactly the same as that story that I read when I was a kid, that type of thing. I just think it's interesting. And there's nothing wrong with reading and believing in something that, other people would tell you wasn't real. Like when you're a kid and you pretend to be a pirate, or whatever it is, that type of thing. And you go on a quest or whatever. And then the movie comes out, the Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's almost like you get to live your dream as a kid, as an adult, and get to sit and watch it at the movie theater. All these movies and stuff. That's why I just love, Marvel and DC Comics. I've loved them since I was a kid. I love Morbius, and I love Wolverine. I love Deadpool and Cable. Domino, I love her. I like Wonder Woman. I just got tons of comic books, and I love going to cons. And I have tons of different costumes and stuff that I love to go in. It's fun, we only have this one life, and who knows how much time you have. People die at 20, people die at 40, people die at 60, some die at almost 100. So we don't all get to pick and choose exactly what our end date is, we just have to take care of ourselves and learn from our mistakes and try to get as much out of our time here as we can. I think that's the most important thing. And to leave your mark, you know what I mean? Hopefully someone will remember you when you're gone. It's only going to last maybe one more generation. And then after the people that knew you while you were alive are gone, then basically, your existence is gone, unless there's photos or a novel you wrote, or a movie you made, or a story, that you made on video and put out on the web, things like that. So, it's different for everyone. But if we don't try to leave something, no one will even know you were even here. So it's important that you speak your mind, and you, learn as much as you can and share as much as you can with others. I think that's how we leave our impression, right? At least that's how I was raised. So that's how I see it. Yes, or artwork you created. I've seen some of yours and it's amazing. And I'm sure your mother tells you that a lot, and other people that get to see your work. So you should be proud of it. And there's nothing wrong with a person if they don't like it. If they look at it and say, it's all right. It may not just be what they're interested in, but that's okay with me because whenever I do anything, it may be not perfect, but guess what? I made it, and not many people can say that. So that's what you should be happy with. But you never know. You never know what tomorrow is going to offer you. But isn't this interesting? Getting to see all three of them right now, all doing different jobs, whatever it is their tasks are at the time that they're doing them, and getting to do it, and have a live stream where people can just tune in anytime and see what's going on. I think it's really cool. But I shared that in the chat. Let's see. The next one, I think that was it. Yeah, I shared that. Let's see what's this one. Oh, this is another one that I thought was interesting because it's showing what's coming up, which is them coming back. And I'm going to share this link. But see, it's showing you right now 19 hours and 48 minutes. They'll be supposedly coming back home. So I think it's awesome. But I'm going to copy this whole thing and share it in the chat so that you can bookmark it if you'd like. And that way you can see as they come back and have re-entry and all that and do the splashdown and all that excitement. It's going to be really cool to see that. But I wanted to share that. But oh, really? You taught yourself? Wow, you're really, really talented. When I saw that eagle, I was like, oh, that's just gorgeous. Now, see, I crochet, but my mom taught me how to do that. And, other things that I've done, I do a lot of I build with Legos. I sew costumes, but I use, a pattern. Now, when I crocheted blankets, I've made like a Norwegian flag blanket. It just depends on what I see, and I try to see if I can make one. Now, the last big things I just did, I had 3 people it was 2 brothers and a sister whose father passed. And she gave me a huge giant bag filled with sweatshirts and t-shirts. And I took those and cut them into squares, and I made 3 quilts out of it because they were their fathers. And I gave one to each of the children. They're adults now, but I gave them each one of the blankets that I made, and I made them, I had to sew the edging around it by hand because I don't have a quilting machine. I just have a regular sewing machine to do regular stuff, a denim, things like that. But sewing a quilt is sick because you have the batting in the middle, and then you have the material on each end, then you have the extra material folded over to make the trim. And that was pieces sewed together from all the extra pieces from the cut up, because he was a Marine, and he had a lot of Marine t-shirts, and I did that. But that was the last big project that I sewed. And right now I'm working on a Lego project. So I'm excited about that. I can't work on it all the time. So, I can't just don't have that kind of time because I have other things I have to do too, because life happens, right? But yeah, if you get a chance, you can watch this tomorrow so that you can see the actual splashdown of the crew when they come back to Earth. I think it's going to be really exciting, and I bet the numbers are going to be really, through the roof for people wanting to watch and see it. But let me see what this is. What'd you say? She can't draw. Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that she can't draw. She can do lots of other things that you can't do. So that's the neatness about each of us being individuals. I have 4 sisters, and one of my sisters is so good at knitting. And I really tried to learn how to knit, but my hands would just get all cramped up and stuff because it's so intricate. And I would get so mad because I'd put down my knit needles because, you know, they go together and you have all your stuff hooked on that. And if anybody trips or pulls on it, guess what? It goes and it's gone. It's nothing. Crocheting is different because you're using one hook. And when you put it in there, you can lock it because when someone pulls on it, it's going to pull tight around that hook and won't come undone. So that's another reason why I like crocheting. And it's only one hook, and you can do so many different stitches with it, and it's fun, it's relaxing. And I recycle plastic shopping bags, and I cut them up and make loops out of them and loop them together, and I make what I call plarn. It's a plastic yarn, and then I crochet things. I tote bags. I've made a backpack. I've hats. I've made, mats. I've made lots of mats where people can lay them out under their car while they're, like changing the oil or, sitting there changing a tire or whatever. And it's just a mat that you can throw away later because it's made out of just bags, plastic bags that were used. So it's 100% recycled. And I really am proud that I've gotten better and better and better at crocheting different things. And I'm working on a bag right now for a friend of mine on X. It's taken me forever because I've had so many things happen. My dad died. He was really sick, and all of us sisters been, going to see him. And then I had a trip that I had to take, and just lots of things happening in life because life happens, and it stops you from being able to do a lot of things that you would like to do. But we have to adjust our life around what's going on to the best of our ability. But let's see, what'd you say? She didn't teach you. Yeah. The thing is, there's a lot of things that we teach ourselves, just there's tons of things. Like nobody taught me how to fly a kite. I just took the kite out and I started just practicing until finally I got really good at it, especially the double-handed ones. Those are so much fun. But man, they're really, depending on where you're flying it, you might need another person, because I've been picked up off the ground before, and it's really scary thinking you got to get up there. And then when you get so high, you don't want to let go because you're going to smash back to the ground. But it's fun. But yeah, I recommend everybody try something. If you haven't tried something, but you've always said, I want to try it, or what I say, buy that food and I want to taste that one thing, or whatever it is, try it. You just have this one life. So, go out and live your life, live life to the fullest as far as you can. I'm not saying go out and spend every penny you have and do stuff you can't. Really, you shouldn't do. But, don't just sit at home and think, well, there's always tomorrow. Well, guess what? There isn't, for a lot of people that go to bed tonight, they probably will be around tomorrow. And I hate to say that, but it could be me. I could be one of them. But you don't think about that until someone close to you passes. And then you start thinking, wow, we really don't have that much time. I mean, I'll be lucky if I, get a good 30 years more, because it just seems like younger and younger and younger people are dying for whatever, different things. Even if we take good care of ourselves. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I do the best I can to take care of myself, eat healthy, and I work out. But, you never know. Somebody with a fake driver's license might take me out tomorrow. You never know. But, try to enjoy what you have right now and the people that are in your life right now. Tell them you love them, you care about them, and let them know that. So if something did happen, let the last thing you said to them be something good that they remember. That would be one of the best things I could tell anyone to do. But I think I just shared that. Let me try again. Make sure. Yeah. This is the link so that you can watch this tomorrow if you want. If you want to see the splashdown and the astronauts coming back in 19 hours and 39 minutes, the astronauts will be coming back to Earth. So I just wanted you to see that. And thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me. And right now, we have 67% think yes, we've already been to the moon before. 22% said no. And 11% think we've been there multiple times, more than once. So I think it's interesting because honestly, unless you were a part of the actual things that went on when it happened and you saw it with your own eyes, how do we prove any of it? You know what I mean? It's what we have in facts. That's it. That's all we have. So we have this set of facts over there and this set of facts over there and those over there, and we got to put them together and discern what we believe is the truth out of it. And we all have a brain, and try to use it the best you can to figure out what you believe. And if you believe in it, great. If you don't, that's also great. It's just live your life and be you. That's the most important thing. But thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And if you like politics and things like that, I'll be having the Friday Night Shit Show tomorrow night at 9:10 on my channel. And I'll be on Rumble. And I might do Kick tomorrow night instead of X, because X really hasn't been helping me very much at all. But hopefully it will get better, but you never know. But it's just one of those things. And I pay to get a blue check mark just so I can go live on there. But my numbers have been really, really bad recently. So I don't know if it's because I'm ghosted or banned, shadow banned. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to find out all that stuff, but I am not, tell you right now, I am not paying X any more money to promote anything, because I ask them to promote. I pay for my blue check mark so I can stream on X. And every time I try to post something, it says, do you want to boost this? And it's like, what do they want from me? I can't even get them to stop sending bots to send me messages or post on my timeline, things like that. If you pay and you can't even get rid of the bots, why would I want to boost anything? Because, I'm lucky if I get, 50 views on anything that I post on X. So, I guess I'm going to keep doing the live streams when I can, and hopefully maybe that will help me a little bit, but that's it. I mean, I'm not putting any more money into it for sure. And I wouldn't waste money on it. If you're not going to be doing, live streaming actually on X, or you don't have a business that you're using it as a business to, sell stuff or whatever else, I don't see why you would even pay to have it, because it really isn't, as good as I was hoping it would be. But, I tried, I paid a certain amount of money, and I'm trying, just like I'm doing this live stream, I pay monthly for StreamYard. And StreamYard is gotten better and better since I've been using it. I really like it. It's gotten easier, I feel, for you to stream. And I think that, if you like that stuff, you should try it. And I'm sharing my link for my StreamYard in the thing to check it out if you're interested. If you think you'd like to try something like this, to do your own, talk about whatever it is. I mean, there was a gentleman in here earlier that swears that all of the NASA stuff is fake. It's all made up. And anyone that believes that we've ever been to the moon or we, putting satellites in space and doing all this stuff is an idiot. He should start his own streams and tell people about, how stupid they are for believing that we actually have rockets that can fly around in outer space and stuff like that, or have submarines that can go down to the bottom of the ocean, because there's no way that you could be on this cell phone and be able to communicate with each other using satellites, because they're in outer space. There's no such thing, that kind of stuff. So, maybe he should have his own show. I really think that I'd like to see how well he would do. He'd probably get 10 million views in a week or something like that. Be shocking, wouldn't it? But I've seen it happen. So, but thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. And hope you guys have a great night. And I hope I entertained you for a little while at least. I try, do the best I can. So if you want to stop in tomorrow night, I'll be doing the Friday Night Shit Show, like I said earlier. And then on Saturday, I stream while I play Pathfinder and DD, with the dice and stuff, where we fight dragons and stuff like that. And then on Sunday, Bruce and I will be doing A Girl and a Guy in a Movie. And I can't remember, it's something, Cooligan's Bluff or something like that. I've never seen it. We're going to be watching it. It stars Clint Eastwood, and we're going to be watching it in my Discord. And then when we're finished watching it, we will go live and review it. And I usually dress up as a character from the movie or in theme of the movie, depending on, what the movie's about, which is going to be hard because I'll have to go through and just go to the IMDb and look at the characters and try to find someone to dress up as, because I've never seen the movie. So it's going to be kind of hard to do that, but it'll be fun. We always have a good time. We've done, a couple hundred movies now. It seems like, because like 50 something movies a year. And it's fun, I've seen so many movies that I never would have watched if it hadn't been for Bruce. But he likes real bad movies. So I've watched quite a few really bad movies, but funny ones, a lot of funny ones too. But, I got him to watch a few movies that I'm sure he never would have watched if I hadn't picked them. But it's great, and that's what I like doing. It's a lot of fun. This is my social life right here. This is what I do. I live in the boonies and have chickens, mow my yard, do all that stuff. Big, I got more than 4 acres, but someone's got to take care of it. But this is fun. I enjoy it. I get to be different people. Like tonight, I'm supposedly in my true form. This is because I'm from Venus or whatever. That's my thing, because I'm Janet from another planet. But hope you guys had a great night, and I will see you later.
Mate, I'm so sorry. I thought there was time.
You just pulled out. I don't have time to stop.
Oh, come on, mate. It was a simple mistake.
I don't know if I was going a bit slower.
Please. I've got my boy in the back.
I'm going too fast. I'm sorry.